Have you heard? Have you heard about the place of death, the foot of the old hill, where people take their last breaths, where criminals are killed? The rocks there form a haunting skull, fitting, I suppose, as crosses of dying men are lined up in rows. The sturdy pillars of wood stand tall, withered and stained from use. What a sight for all to see as the Romans inflict abuse. Have you heard the screams of agony, the ringing out from this place? Have you heard that Jesus too is there, hanging in disgrace? His mother is there and his brother, in shock and disbelief. In a state of grief, I can't imagine what it would be like to watch my loved ones bleed. You can hardly recognize him now, caked in dirt and blood. They drove a crown of thorns in his head. He's been so badly flogged. And there he hangs with criminals, one on either side. So degrading, so embarrassing. What a way to end a life. They paraded them through the streets, carrying that heavy cross. He was so weak from all the beatings and all the blood that he had lost, that he could not stand under the weight of the heavy wooden beam. So he fell to the earth so many times. I still recall the screams of Jesus. Yes. And those who watched him as they passed along the road. It sickens me every time the Romans do this, but this is the punishment he chose. He could have changed his behavior. He could have made other choices. He heard them calling out for his death and chose to ignore their voices and keep on preaching and keep on teaching and keep on healing and keep on repeating the same things over and over again. That wound up in the line of questioning that the rulers had prepared for him when they invited him to Sanhedrin. It was still up to him, but he chose this punishment. Have you heard about the sign that Pilate mounted above his head? This is Jesus of Nazareth, the King of the Jews, it read. The leaders said that was his crime. They quelled his rebellion and punished his treason, but they set Barabbas, a murderer, free. That's a huge exchange for such a simple reason, but I agree that we cannot let people threaten the holy way of life, for God told us to be this way. Our patterns are rooted in Moses' time, so charge anyone with a crime if they threaten the divine way of life of you and I. Beneath that sign he hangs as streams of blood and sweat drip from his toes, while within a few feet soldiers cast their lots and divide up his clothes. Have you heard the people calling out? Come down from their Messiah, taunting him to save himself, and the men on either side of him. But he does not move. He doesn't curse. He doesn't fight back or make things worse. There's part of me that wishes it didn't have to be this way. That this rebellious uprising would quietly dissipate, so we could forget the things we heard him say and erase the things I saw today.